There is a man in a shop right now, somewhere in this country, who has been a diesel mechanic for 30 years. He has worked on engines that cost more than most people's cars. He has seen the finest technology American manufacturers have produced, and he has fixed what that technology breaks. That man will tell you, if you ask him, that there is one pickup truck engine he would put in his own personal vehicle and drive across the country without a second thought. He will tell you about the 7.3-liter Power Stroke from Ford, found in the Super Duty trucks from 1994 to 2003. He will say it like a man confessing something on his deathbed because that is the weight of it. He is telling you the truth he wishes he had been told 30 years ago, before he wasted money on trucks that were not worth the steel they were made from. My name is Wade Tucker, and I have been turning wrenches on pickup trucks since 1985, and I am telling you the same thing that man would tell you, because the 7.3 Power Stroke is not just a good engine. It is a confession from Ford about what they were capable of when they were not trying to impress anyone. Subscribe to this channel and tell me in the comments about your own truck, because I want to know what you have seen and what you have been through, because I guarantee you it is part of the story I am about to tell you. Ford did not set out to build the most reliable diesel pickup engine in American history. I need you to understand that from the very beginning, because the story of the 7.3 Power Stroke is a story about accidental excellence. In the early 1990s, Ford needed a diesel engine for their new Super Duty platform. They could have gone with something new and complicated, something with all the electronics and computer controls that the industry was starting to demand. Instead, they went to Navistar and said, "Give us your old 7.3L, the one that was already in the F-Series, and make it work for a heavier duty platform." Navistar had been building that engine since the 1980s in various applications. It was a legacy design, proven, understood, and here's the part that matters more than anything else in this conversation. It was a mechanical pump injection engine, not electronic, not computer controlled, mechanical. The fuel pump on the 7.3-liter Power Stroke is a Bosch mechanical pump. It is connected to the engine's camshaft through a gear drive. When the engine turns, the pump turns. When the pump turns, it sends fuel to the injectors through high-pressure lines. There is no computer telling the pump how much fuel to send. There is no sensor reading exhaust oxygen levels and adjusting the mixture on the fly. The pump just pumps, and the injectors just inject, and the engine just runs, and it runs, and it runs, and it runs. I have personally seen a 1999 F-250 with a 7.3-liter Power Stroke that had crossed 487,000 miles on the original engine. The owner was a cattle farmer in East Tennessee who changed his own oil and filters and nothing else. He had never taken that truck to a dealer, not once. He bought it in 2001 with 40,000 miles on it and drove it for 23 years. When I looked at that engine, I found minor wear on the cylinder walls, which is completely normal at that mileage, and the injection system was performing within factory spec. That engine did not die. It was not retired. It was still doing the work it was built to do. The reason the 7.3-liter has earned the loyalty of mechanics across this country is not complicated. It is a simple engine, and simple engines can be fixed. When something goes wrong on a modern diesel truck, you need a computer, manufacturer-specific diagnostic software, a scan tool that costs thousands of dollars, and sometimes a connection to the dealer's server to unlock features that should belong to the owner but are locked behind proprietary code. When something goes wrong on a 7.3-liter Power Stroke, you need basic hand tools, a rebuild kit for the injection pump if the pump is the problem, and a willingness to get your hands dirty. I want to say that again because I know some of you watching right now have been told by a dealership that your truck needed a new engine and the quote was $7,000 and you were about to believe them. The injection pump on a 7.3-liter Power Stroke can be rebuilt for under $500 in parts. I have done it. I have done it in a farmyard with the truck sitting on gravel. The parts are available, the knowledge is available, and every independent mechanic in this country knows how to work on this engine. That is not an accident. That is a design philosophy, and it was one that Ford stumbled into because they were following a proven design instead of chasing innovation for the sake of innovation. Ford paired the 7.3-liter Power Stroke with the ZF S6-650 6-speed manual transmission in the early years, and later with the Ford 4R100 and 5R110 automatics. These are heavy-duty transmissions built for commercial applications, not passenger vehicles. The 4R100, which was used from 1994 onward, is the same transmission that Ford used in medium-duty commercial trucks. It has a gear set that was designed for higher torque loads than what the 7.3-liter could produce, which means it is essentially indestructible in a pickup truck application. I have rebuilt 4R100 transmissions that came out of trucks with over 300,000 miles, and the wear patterns inside those transmissions tell a story of an automatic that was never stressed to its limits, even after hundreds of thousands of hard miles. The overdrive gear is a little weak if you are towing heavy loads constantly up steep grades, but for the vast majority of truck owners, that transmission will outlast the truck it is bolted to. Mechanics know this. We see these trucks come in all the time, and when we see a 7.3-liter Power Stroke with an automatic, we already know what we are dealing with. We know it is not going to need a transmission repair at 80,000 miles. We know it is not going to need a new engine at 120,000 miles. We know it is going to need basic maintenance, and it is going to keep running. There is a reason mechanics refuse to let these trucks die. We have all had the experience of working on a modern diesel truck and feeling like the truck is fighting you every step of the way. Modern diesel engines have emission systems that are designed to reduce pollutants under laboratory conditions, and those emission systems degrade in the real world. And when they degrade, they cause problems that are expensive to fix and that have nothing to do with the engine itself. I am talking about the diesel particulate filter, the exhaust gas recirculation system, the selective catalytic reduction system that requires urea injection on 2011 and newer engines. These systems are designed to meet emission standards, and they do meet emission standards in the laboratory for the warranty period. After the warranty expires, the owner is on the hook for repairs that can cost 5 figures on a truck with 150,000 miles. I have seen 2015 Super Duty trucks with 130,000 miles that needed a new emission system, and the quote was more than the truck was worth. The 7.3-liter Power Stroke has none of that. It has an exhaust gas recirculation system, yes, but it is a simple mechanical EGR valve that can be deleted with basic fabrication skills and a piece of steel plate. The engine does not have a diesel particulate filter. It does not have selective catalytic reduction. It does not have any of the systems that are designed to degrade after the warranty window closes. This is not an oversight by Ford. This is simply what the engine was before the emissions regulations tightened, before the industry decided that diesel pickup trucks needed to be cleaner than the air in most cities. The 7.3-liter Power Stroke is a pre-emissions engine in every meaningful sense, and that is why mechanics love it, and that is why owners love it, and that is why it has become something close to a religious object in the truck community. I want to talk about the injectors on the 7.3-liter Power Stroke, because this is where people get nervous, and I want to calm that nervousness with facts. The 7.3-liter uses injectors that are controlled by a system called HEUI, which stands for Hydraulic Electronic Unit Injector. Each cylinder has its own injector, and the injectors are activated by oil pressure, not by a traditional mechanical cam or rocker arm. The oil pressure is generated by an engine-driven pump and is controlled by a solenoid on each injector. When the engine computer sends a signal, the solenoid opens. Oil pressure flows into the injector, and the injector fires. This system is more complex than a simple mechanical injector, but it is still vastly simpler than the common rail injection systems found on modern diesel engines. The injectors on a 7.3-liter Power Stroke are known to fail, and when they fail, the symptoms are distinct and diagnosable by any mechanic who knows what to listen for. A dead injector causes a misfire on that cylinder, and you can feel it in the exhaust note and in the way the engine runs. Diagnosing a bad injector on a 7.3-liter takes about 10 minutes with a basic code reader and a stethoscope. Replacing the injector requires removing the valve covers, which takes about 2 hours if you are doing it carefully. The injector itself costs between $60 and $120 depending on whether you buy new, rebuilt, or used. I have replaced injectors on 7.3-liter engines at the side of the road. It is not comfortable, but it is possible, and that is the point. Every part of this engine is designed to be serviced by someone who is not a dealer technician with a factory scan tool and a service manual that costs $500 a year to access. There is a dark side to this story, and I need to tell you about it because you need to understand what happened when Ford's corporate leadership figured out what they had accidentally built. The 7.3-liter Power Stroke was discontinued in 2003 when Ford moved to the 6.0-liter Power Stroke for the 2003 model year Super Duty. The 6.0-liter was newer, more powerful on paper, and loaded with more electronics. It was also significantly less reliable. The 6.0-liter Power Stroke has a reputation in the truck community that borders on hostile. It has problems with the head gaskets, the EGR system, the turbochargers, and the injection pressure regulator. It requires more maintenance, more expensive repairs, and more patience than almost any other diesel pickup engine Ford has ever produced. Mechanics in the diesel world will tell you that Ford went from the best diesel engine they ever made directly to one of the worst, and the 6.0-liter is the evidence. The 6.0-liter was an attempt to modernize, to add power, to meet stricter emission standards, and in the process, Ford lost the thing that made the 7.3-liter special, which was simplicity. The 6-liter proved that Ford did not understand what they had with the 7.3. They did not build it because they understood durability. They built it because they used an old design and did not complicate it. When they decided to complicate it with the 6-liter, they found out exactly what happens when you try to improve on a design you do not understand. Now here's the part of the story that matters for anyone who is shopping for a used Super Duty today. The 1994 to 2003 Ford Super Duty trucks with the 7.3-liter Power Stroke have become collector's items in certain circles. The prices on clean examples have been climbing steadily for the past 5 years, and I do not see that changing. A 1999 F-250 Lariat with the 7.3-liter and 200,000 miles is worth more today as a running truck than a 2015 F-250 with the 6.7-liter Power Stroke and 100,000 miles, because the 1999 truck will still be running long after the 2015 truck has required its first major emissions repair. This is not speculation. This is economic reality in the used truck market, driven by mechanics who know, owners who have learned, and the simple fact that there is no replacement for an engine that was built to last and that actually does last. I have spoken to truck dealers in my area who admit privately that they will not touch a pre-2003 Super Duty for their own personal use, but they are happy to sell them to customers who do not know what they are looking at. That tells you everything you need to know about what the people who profit from trucks think about these older models. They know. They have always known. If you own a 7.3-liter Power Stroke, or if you are thinking about buying one, here is what you need to know about keeping it alive. The number one killer of these engines is lack of maintenance, specifically neglect of the fuel system and the oil system. The injection pump on the 7.3 is sensitive to fuel quality, and in the early 2000s, Ford actually issued a technical service bulletin recommending that owners use a fuel additive to prevent algae growth in the fuel tank. This is not unusual for diesel engines, but it is something that many owners of these trucks have ignored, and when the injection pump fails prematurely, it is almost always because of fuel contamination or fuel starvation. Change your fuel filter on time, every time. Use a quality diesel fuel, and consider adding a biocide treatment to the fuel tank once a year if the truck sits for extended periods. The oil system is equally straightforward. The 7.3 benefits from oil changes every 5,000 miles with a quality 15W40 diesel oil. I have seen these engines last well over 500,000 miles on nothing but conventional diesel oil changed every 5,000 miles. Do not overthink the oil. Do not pay $80 for synthetic when a $15 conventional oil change done on time will do the same job. The CPS, or crankshaft position sensor, is the most common failure point on the 7.3-liter Power Stroke, and it is a notorious problem that Ford never fully solved during the production run. The CPS is located on the front of the engine, near the harmonic balancer, and it is exposed to heat and vibration. When it fails, the engine shuts down and will not restart. This is a common roadside breakdown scenario for these trucks, and it is also one of the easiest problems to fix, because the CPS itself costs about $40, and can be replaced in under an hour with basic tools. Carry a spare CPS in your glove box if you drive one of these trucks regularly, because when it fails, and it will fail eventually, you do not want to be stranded waiting for a tow. I have replaced CPS sensors in parking lots, in gas stations, and once in a church parking lot on a Sunday morning while the congregation was filing out. The part is cheap, the fix is simple, and it is exactly the kind of problem that the 7.3 liter is known for. Not catastrophic failures that leave you on the side of the road with a destroyed engine. Small, predictable failures that can be fixed quickly and inexpensively by anyone willing to turn a wrench. There is something almost spiritual about the way mechanics talk about the 7.3 liter Power Stroke. I have heard diesel technicians who work on Cat engines and Cummins and Detroit say, with a kind of reverence that you do not often hear from professionals, that the 7.3 liter is the last honest diesel that Ford built. I do not use the word honest lightly. An honest engine is one that does what it promises, that does not hide its weaknesses, that fails in ways that can be seen and understood and fixed, and that rewards the owner who takes care of it. The 7.3 liter Power Stroke is all of those things. It does not pretend to be something it is not. It does not require a computer to tell you it needs fuel. It does not tell you it is running fine when it is actually running on 7 cylinders. It does not have a check engine light that comes on because the emission system is confused by a slightly dirty air filter. The 7.3 liter tells you exactly what is wrong, in the way it runs, in the way it sounds, in the way it pulls, and if you listen to it, it will never leave you stranded far from home. I want to close this by saying something that I do not say often, because I have spent 40 years trying to be objective about trucks and engines and the people who build them, and I think I have earned that objectivity through thousands of hours of real work. The 7.3 liter Power Stroke is the greatest diesel pickup engine Ford has ever produced, and I include the 6.0 liter, the 6.4 liter, the 6.7 liter, all of them, and I mean it. Not because it is the most powerful, because it is not. Not because it is the most technologically advanced, because it is the furthest thing from that. It is the greatest because it is the most honest. It is the greatest because it respects the person who owns it. It is the greatest because when it fails in a way that lets the owner fix it and keep driving. And I believe in the quiet and serious way that a man believes something he has seen proven over and over for 30 years, that Ford accidentally built a better truck than they knew, and that truck has been saving its owners money and keeping them on the road ever since. And if you drive one, you already know what I am talking about. And if you do not, I hope you find one before the prices go up past what most working people can afford, because these trucks are not getting cheaper, and the ones that are left are not getting younger, and there is a whole generation of mechanics coming up who are going to look at these engines the way I look at them, which is with a kind of respect that is hard to explain to anyone who has not spent their life turning wrenches on machines that deserve it. I am Wade Tucker. If you own one of these trucks, take care of it. If you are thinking about buying one, buy it. If you have a story about a 7.3 liter Power Stroke that went further than anyone expected, write it in the comments, because those stories need to be told, and there are people watching right now who need to hear them. And if you learned something today, if this video helped you understand your truck better, or saved you from a repair you did not need, then do something for me. Share this video with someone who drives a Ford diesel, someone who might need to hear that their truck is worth keeping, that the machine they are driving is worth the care, that there are people in this world who still understand that a truck is supposed to work and keep working and not quit just because a warranty expired. That is all I have for you today. Keep your fuel filters clean, your oil changed, and your wrenches ready. I will see you in the next one.